All right, guys, so let's talk about the summoner today. The summoner for this build, the ideal time that this guy is going to shine is at level 22. And this is why we've upped our difficulty significantly, because I now have confidence in the fact that this summoner can outlast my whole team and hopefully dwindle down remaining units or enemies over time. Now, one thing that's interesting to note about the summoner is he only needs vitality and intelligence, because your weapons and your armor are the only thing that buffs your pets. There's nothing other than that that'll buff the pets outside of, say, a character that can put enchants on them, like weapons enchants and armor enchants, or seals, which will buff their stats as well, their damage and their health. But outside of that, you cannot change their damage outside of these items, your summon damage and your summon health, right? So as you see here, we're primarily in vitality and intelligence, and the reason for this is once we get to our skills, you're going to notice that there is an ability you can pick up at level 22, which the reason I say level 22 is that at level 22 you're going to have all of these skills prior to that. So at level 19, you're going to have Summon Raven, Summon Wolf. You're also going to have Eagle Eye, which is going to allow you to cast your summons one hex out, further out, as well as you're going to have Beastmaster, which deals 10% additional damage and then an additional 15. So it's a total of 25% additional damage and health. And this is going to buff all of your summons. It's kind of nutty, kind of insane, kind of cool. So the Immortal Knight at 22 is going to allow you to increase the difficulty of your playthroughs, because he's going to be able to come back with full health, minus 25% of your health and your current health and mana. And this is going to help you and allow you to win the battle of attrition. Over time, you will hopefully, your summons will be able to take down whatever you're fighting over time, and you're going to just obliterate whatever's remaining if your whole team dies. Now, this build's pretty cool because on the first turn, you can actually summon up to 5 summons. You can summon your Skeletal Archer, your Skeletal Warrior, which has a cleave, also has armored, so he's a little bit more tanky than your other units. You get a Skeletal Mage, which, as far as I've seen, can only do fire, lightning, and ice attacks. Pretty cool. But he also comes in with a Ghost Armor first turn. Really awesome, really cool. On top of that, you're able to summon in a Raven that will get elusive, which means he's going to dodge attacks. He does okay damage. He can move really far as well, up to 10 movement squares. You also get a Summon Wolf, which is going to howl, which is going to lower the damage of the enemy units by 20%. He also heals himself as he's dealing damage. So if he takes some splash damage or AoE damage, I've seen him heal for up to 400 damage in my playthroughs. Really cool, really fun and interesting. The overall end build for this. All right, guys. Sorry, future rec here. I just wanted to go over a few more abilities that your summoner has that I forgot to mention. You have Purge Mana. So in the longevity of a fight, you're going to be able to drain the boss mob's mana over time as you're still pumping out more and more summons. This is going to help you stay up and in power in the entirety of the fight. Also, consumption is huge for helping with reducing the HP of all the enemy mobs. Once you get to level 11 plus, the HP starts to go up significantly. At least in a 6-man party, I've seen upwards to, at level 23 now, I've seen upwards to 48,000 HP. And it's nice to get 10% of that knocked off. In addition to that, the Soul Fracture will also do 20%. So pretty huge. I mean, like, if you think of that, that's 30% that will be taken off of at least one monster in the fight, which is going to make killing that monster 30% easier, which is huge. And also, you have Soul Link. You can use Soul Link to link an elusive monster with a non-elusive monster, and then you won't miss anything on the elusive monster if you're single targeting the main monster. Or even if they're not elusive, you can do Soul Link and drop a bunch of AoEs, and the AoEs will double hit, meaning each monster will take damage, and then they'll send that damage to the partner who's Soul Linked. And these are all really good abilities. Let's go ahead and hop into what I'm predicting the in-game build is going to be for this. This is assuming that the passive skills in the Ranger tree, these passive skills right here, that's assuming that Call of the Wild will reduce the summoning cooldowns for all summons, not just the Ranger side summons, but your Shadow summons, as well as if the Endless Quiver will further reduce those cooldowns by an additional one for all of your summons in the Ranger category. Now, if this is the case, this is going to increase your productivity for your summons and disrupting the enemy by a metric crap ton. And that is going to be very interesting for when you hit level 30, because then you're going to be able to just continuously pump stuff out. It's going to be so cool and so fun, in my opinion, if this works out the way that I'm thinking it will. And with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and hop into the best in slot weapons and where to farm these items, and also the gear, all the gear that you would imagine that you would want for a summoner. And so with that, guys, we're going to go over the weapons first. So the second best item and the easiest to get early on is going to be the Skull Mace. Now, the Skull Mace gives 15% damage as well as increases your summon limit by 1. Now, if you didn't already know, the summon limit is capped at 3. And the only way to increase that is by adding additional weapons like the maces and the swords that you're going to see in this video, as well as shields. Now, this is second best. You're going to be looking for any bosses that are in your dailies that are going to be the Sun Queen. The Sun Queen and anything that's going to have undead will have a decent percentage chance to drop the Skull Mace. Now, if you come across the femur is going to be a decent one until you're able to get to Castle Gloom Day or Freewind Forest Night, or you're able to fight the Herald of the Abyss. Now, the Herald of the Abyss has a 5% chance to drop the best in slot weapon, which is a Dead One Scythe. It's a one-handed mystic sword, and it gives 25% damage to your summons. Really strong, really strong weapon. You can actually dual wield these, and that will give you a total of 50% more damage, which is going to increase the damage output of your minions by a lot. To put it in perspective, that's 20% more than what I currently have on my summoner if I were running 2 of these. And another cool thing, guys, if you didn't know this, if you save your mats, you can actually enchant either plus 10% health or 10% more damage. So you can get a lot of damage on each of these weapons. Now, you can do prefix and suffix. So per item, you can do up to 20%. So in my opinion, I would just wait until you're way later in game to do so. Those 10% bonuses won't unlock until you get to Act 4. And the reality is that you're going to want to wait, because some of these items are going to get more stats over time that are going to be like the stat increase from level 16 all the way up to level 23 is insane. You get a lot more stats, as in vitality and intelligence, which is really cool. So the best in slot is Dead One Scythe. You're going to see the trend is best in slot is going to be basically Dead Ones. And the reason for that is, well, it's a mythic item. So pretty cool. So the Dead One's head drops from the Butcher at a 5% chance. This is a shield. This also gives one summon limit 25% health. So if you're struggling to keep them alive, or you want to make your summons a little bit more tankier, the Dead One's head is a viable option for that. And it's also going to give 10% resistance to your minions, which is really cool. So the other thing you could do for that is the Gravestone. If you're still starting out early, you can get these from the Herald of the Abyss at a 28% drop rate. Gravedigger, which will give it 20%, and any undead mob will have a chance to drop it at 1%. So let's go to the helmets. The helmets in order of okay to good are going to be your Cultist hood, which is just okay. It's got a 1% chance to drop from Dark Cultist. And then you have your Summoner's hat, which drops from the Dust King, which is a very interesting and unique boss. He's very fun to fight. He also can summon undead, which is really fun to fight. And then you have your best in slot, which is the Dead One's Bind, which is going to give 12% health, 12% damage, 10% resistance. And this is going to drop from the Countess. So the Countess is a very easy boss, in my opinion. It's very fun to farm as well. So now if we're going to be looking at your chest plates, we're going to go in order of Cultist robes. Now, for me, it's debatable on the Cultist robes. The Cultist robes have a 10% chance upon being hit to grant you a ghost armor, right? And if the whole point of your summoner is survivability, then this would increase his survivability by a lot, right? And these are very easy to get. They drop from the Herald of the Abyss at a 28% chance. Also, the Cultists all have a very decent amount, like, chance to drop it as well. And it gives 8 to health and 8 to damage for your summons, which is pretty useful, in my opinion. So, and then let's go down here and we'll look at the next, I wouldn't say best, but if you're looking for a percentage increase to damage and health, the Summoner's robes that the Cultist or the Countess drops, these drop at a 5% chance. This is going to give you 2% more health and damage over time. So I guess it all varies or depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for maximizing damage and stuff like that? Then the Summoner's one is going to be a step up for your damage and health for your minions. But best in slot overall, if you're looking for damage, health, and resistance, is going to be the Dead One's robes, which the Dust King drops at a 5% rate. Now, it depends on what you want. If you want more damage or you want survivability, right? So this is what you're playing off of overall. Now, one thing to note is jewelry for this. There's no mythic jewelry that really stands out for the Summoner. The best in slot is just going to be summon health 8%, and this drops from your random undeads at a 1% rate. And then your amulets are best in slot is going to be damage, and it's the same thing, 1% drop rate. As far as I know, I have not come across any mythic skeleton necklaces yet, but maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance that you can get that. You could also get some beefy, additional things like cooldown resistance, etc., more resistance, or you can even put stats on these that would help benefit you as well in the future. So, all right, guys, hopefully this video has given you the information to build your summoner in the most desired way, or at least my desired way, and hopefully this helps your summoner thrive in the game and continue to support your team and help you progress further along in these acts at very little to no risk at all, because once again, the summoner is made to last, and hopefully you see that too in this video. So we'll see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, leave some comments. Tell me if there's a different build that you would like to do, or if there's a build you're interested in seeing. If I have the gear, I'll put it together and we'll play with it. And we'll see you guys in the next one.